great to be here with you. I could have been somewhere else making some money. But I decided to be here with you and spend some time talking to you about creating a culture of preparedness in America. This topic is significant to me as an individual, particularly as we watch our nation under assault by Mother Nature again. The news people really didn't tell you the whole story. We could have 50 million people without power by the time this storm is over with. The entire financial system in New York could be dysfunctional, not for days but weeks. This could be equivalent to a nuclear attack if the worst case scenario unfolds. If we have at least a half dozen nuclear power plants that are under the assault line of this storm. So I hope you do what I do when you have things that you can't control, that we pray that this thing does not come to fruition. And our nation and all of our people who are in the area of this storm, some 13 states. How many of you live in any of those 13 states? I know you've been watching news. Anybody live or come from that area? Just one, two? All y'all come from Georgia? Gotta do some more out-of-state recruiting. So, and many of you have relatives or friends, right? That are in those 13 states. And oh, by the way, our nation's capital is under assault by this storm, and our financial capital of the world, New York City, whether you like it or not, that's the reality, is under assault by this storm. So hopefully the worst case scenario will not happen, and this storm will start to weaken and become another event in our rearview mirror. But hopefully, from what we will learn from this, we will become stronger as a nation. Since 9/11 and since Katrina, our nation has become more capable of dealing with disasters of this nature. And a couple of things changed. One of them is about a $50 million a year budget. $50 billion a year budget in the Office of Homeland Security, which house FEMA and the other government agencies that are involved in disaster response and disaster mitigation. The other impact is a reorganization of the military on the signal command called Northern Command out in Colorado. So we put a lot of resources in to be able to do what you see unfolding as what looked like a routine operation over the last couple days, where you see governors and their staffs, along with federal support, talking about how they are preparing the people and how they are evacuating people and how they are creating these shelters. Yesterday, a significant thing happened. The President of the United States signed declarations for many states. That is a power that the President has given to him by the Congress through constitutional law, that he will sign a declaration to help states pay for damage and or preparedness for a storm. It's only happened about 4 times in the history of our nation that we've used the Stafford Act and did a pre-event declaration. And again, what it is federal money going to the states so they can pay overtime, so they can pay for their National Guard, so they can pay for any equipment they might rent, to put generators at shelters, and to buy food if need to when the Red Cross run a shelter. So that declaration is a significant thing for the states, and it was first done for a hurricane named Hurricane Andrew, and it was done again for Katrina, and then this is the second time President Obama has signed a pre-event designation presidential declaration. He did one for Hurricane Isaac. As you recall, that was a storm came into Louisiana a few months ago, just about the time they all started school. and it was going on the week of the Republican convention. So we had a convention going on and a storm hitting the Gulf Coast of Louisiana. And again, President Obama had signed the declaration before landfall because it was coming right in the same area Katrina hit, in the poorest state in the United States. Now, let me put things in context. So we start from the bottom up when we talk about disasters. We lost about 1,800 people in Louisiana as a result of Katrina. The majority of people that we removed from their homes who died from the storm came from primarily three demographics, or part of one demographic divided into three categories. They were elderly, they were disabled, or they were poor. So that one more time. Elderly, disabled, or poor. During the last election, to put it in context again, our politicians talked about Wall Street, Main Street, and that was it. They don't even talk about it this election. You all know what happened on Wall Street. That's a place that's under attack by the storm now. It's where the financials that are on it's people who make more money in their bonuses than they do in the annual salary, who run the financial sector. The other street they talked about was Main Street. I've changed the definition of Main Street for you to mean this. Main Street is that street in America of people who have jobs and people who can get jobs. Obviously, you're invested in your education. You want to be a part of what? People who can get jobs. But there's another street in America that I refer to as Railroad Street. And in the South, where a lot of you come from, Railroad Street is not just a metaphor, it's a place. You show me where the railroad passed, and I'll show you where that vulnerable population that died during Katrina. The elderly, the disabled, and the poor. Why? Because rich folks don't live where? In the railroad tracks. What's in railroad tracks? Industrial areas mixed with what? With poor housing. So it's just a phenomenon, but that's just the way it is. In New Orleans, where we had most of the deaths occur, in the 9th Ward, St. Bernard Parish, and in Clapham Parish, there's several railroads run through there. Thus, the name Railroad Street. It's where a third of America lives. A third of America depend on government subsidy. I used to say 10% of America has some disabilities. I got a note from a Tulane professor said, no, you're wrong, it's closer to 15%. So you think of the population at large, in the United States of America, and you think about the elderly people or people with lifelong disabilities that either can't hear, see, or respond or move as a result of the incoming disaster. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a major challenge on our hands. Because in every city there's what kind of street? A railroad street. You see the area in New York that the mayor of New York just evacuated. Much of that is where the public housing is located. If you look into New Jersey,